on her profile that she is a tech enthusiast and educator, a language and communications coach, and a curriculum designer with a 25 years with the rich experience of teaching, training, and developing curricula. And her professional aim is to equip teachers and leaders with the comprehensive learning opportunities focused on the specific needs to create inclusive and responsive spaces. So, once again, a very warm good evening, and I would like to welcome Shweta ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Shall I start?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay. So, once again, a very warm good evening to all of you, though it is being cold, a little bit cold outside. I don't know how it is at your place from wherever you are. Maybe in southern part of India, it might not be that cold. I would request, because I want to see a few faces, if you can turn on your camera so that I can see some faces. Doesn't feel like I'm talking to a blank screen. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. Such a lovely audience. Great. Okay, so the topic for today is connecting hearts and mind. Is it actually important to connect heart and mind? Because in school, as an educator or as a child when we were learning, we were always taught to keep a mind active. No, pay attention, be attentive, listen to me. That's what our teachers used to tell. And that's what I feel you as teachers are telling to our children. Another thing which I want to ask is all of you are comfortable with English or shall I be bilingual? Just write in the chat box because I want this topic to go to each and every one of you. So just let me know if you want me to be bilingual. That is perfectly cool with me. English is fine. English is fine. So yes, ma'am is not clear whether bilingual you want or you want English only. Bilingual, bilingual. Okay. Okay. So I'll be bilingual. Thank you so much for your responses. So, what I'm trying to tell in this 1 hour that you're investing with me is how to associate our heart with our mind. Now, what is the need for that? What is social emotional learning? What do you understand by social emotional learning? And how does it impact in education? Education में क्या फर्क पड़ता है social emotional चीजों का? That's what we are going to talk about today. The agenda will be what is social emotional learning? In short, it is called SEL. What and how of emotions? Because we are talking about emotional learning, we will go a little bit deeper into what are emotions, not psychologically, but we'll just touch upon the surface so that we understand our learners. Now, there are 5 pillars, 5 competencies of social emotional learning that we are going to understand and how we are going to incorporate this in our classrooms. Next will be what are the benefits and are you ready to take the next step? So, if I may ask you, what is your understanding of social emotional learning as of now? Please write in the chat box. What do you understand by social emotional learning? What is thought should be felt. Okay, great. So, Sheila ma'am is trying to say that we should not project things. We should be vocal about our feelings. In control of your emotions. Oh my God, control of the emotions. I'll talk about this. Expressing feelings, very nice. If any child is emotionally and socially strong, he can learn better. Very great. Anjana ma'am, hats off to you. Very nice. How to control the emotions in social life with maturity. I specifically want to talk on this thing. controlling emotions. So social emotional learning, Zukail Kha, ma'am, I would request not to annotate. Let me just switch off the annotation. Uh, so Kanya, if you're there, I am co-host, I suppose, so I won't be able to stop annotation. Can you please stop the annotation? Okay, child should be emotionally and socially friendly, working together. Yes. So few of you have, so I've got a term, balanced emotions in the circumstances. Okay. Controlling, balancing emotions. These are the two terms we are going to talk about. Understanding child's feeling. Yes, we need to understand. Let's dive. What is the definition? Now, social emotional learning. Is it a process or an outcome? This is my regular question. So, is it a process? First, understand what is social emotional learning. It's a methodology. Okay, just pay attention to the term. It's a methodology that helps students of all ages to better comprehend their emotions. So, we don't have to control the emotions, and why I'll talk a little later. We need to first comprehend our emotions, to feel those emotions fully and demonstrate empathy for others. This is what SEL is. So, by going through this definition, do you think it's a process or do you think it's an outcome? What is your view on after understanding? Because there are three things which are being taught about. One is that you have to help students to comprehend their emotion. Then you have to feel those emotions fully and demonstrate empathy for others. Very nice, Divya ma'am. Thank you so much. Process oriented outcome. Beautifully quoted. Beautifully quoted. Thank you so much for this term. I'm going to use this term. Now, once I understand what a social emotional thing, what are emotions? If I talk about emotions, what do you think are emotions? What is an emotion? Can you name any emotion? Any emotion of yours? And how would you define that? Happy, happiness, anger, stress, inner feeling, sadness, anger, fear. Great. What else? Excitement, nervousness, shyness. Oh, so a plethora of emotions. So, what are emotions? So, if I feel sad, it's just that emotion has come over. It is a response to an event. There's something which has happened, no? And my emotions are a response to that. That event can be internal or maybe external. So I was going very happy and I was driving, and suddenly my car hit the divider. Okay, something wrong went. So it's an external thing which made me sad. Fine, there must be something. I'm not happy in a relationship. Maybe something has happened with my sister, with my brother, with my mother, with my spouse. That's something which is internal. So there's a event which triggers a response, and the response is emotion. Now, this response or this reflection of response integrates psychological, cognitive, physiological, behavioral, expressive process. So it affects everything. No? If I'm happy, I might think, oh, I'm very happy today, let's party. But I was supposed to study. But I decided to forego my study and I started to, enjoy more. So, somewhere or the other, I am not in processing my emotions correctly. So, I am foregoing some of the other things which are very important for me. And this personality of mine will shape my further reaction to any other event. How many emotions do you think are there? आपने कुछ तो बताए हैं. You have told certain emotions. As per you, what will be the number? Any number you can quote. 7. Okay. कितने emotions हो सकते हैं? 8, 9, 10, 9, many. See, many is very, this thing. Approximation. No, I want a number. Uncountable. Okay. So it is lying somewhere around 25 to 50 that you're quoting, or maybe 1 to 50, I can say. And you will be surprised to know that there are 34,000 different emotions which psychologists have identified. 34,000, imagine. That's a lot to keep track of. हमें तो नाम भी नहीं पता होंगे उन इमोशंस का. लेकिन थोड़े कंजर्वेटिव साइकोलॉजिस्ट ने फिर भी 27 डिस्टिंक्ट इमोशनल स्टेट्स को आइडेंटिफाई किया है, which is again a lot to sift through. And sometimes do you feel that we have two things going on at one time? There are so many emotions that we feel during one time. So I can be fearful and sad. Can I be fearful and sad? I'm a small child. I'm lost. I somehow lost my mother or father somewhere in the crowd. Now I must be fearful and I will be sad too. So I can feel more than one emotion at one point of time. I can be lonely and sad. I could be smiling and very nervous inside. Yes, very true. So how to manage the emotion, how to understand? हम यहाँ पे कोशिश कर रहे हैं, हम ये सब जो हम सीखने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, हमें अपने आप को भी समझना है. SEL is not only for kids, it's for you also as teachers. So first we'll try to understand our emotions. Once we are compliant in understanding our emotion, we'll be able to understand the learner's emotion as well. So there's one person called Dr. Plutchik. He has managed to make a wheel of emotion. There's another psychologist about whom we're going to talk. So if you can see the inner circle, he has identified these inner emotions as the basic emotions. So it could be vigilance, it could be rage, it could be loathing, it could be grief, amazement, terror, and admiration. If you can see, these are moving outwards and there are different forms of, for example, if I take ecstasy, so I have serenity, I have joy. Can you differentiate between joy and serenity? दोनों में ही खुशी मिल रही है, लेकिन वो खुशी कैसी है? एक में जॉय है, एक में सेरेनिटी है. What is the difference between these two? हालांकि दोनों ही खुशी है, हैप्पीनेस है. Anyone who can quote the difference? Yeah, serenity is purity. Okay. And what is joy? Complete happiness. Serenity is divine. So we don't say when we see mountains or a pure environment, we feel serene. The landscape is serene. Okay. Joy can be impulsive. It can be a momentarily form of happiness. Excuse me. So joy can be impulsive. Serene is something very pure, very calming, very soothing. Fine. So there's a difference between though these two emotions, both are rooting from ecstasy, but still it is like, they're different forms. When these two combines, say if you can see these two, so admiration, for example, so you have trust on somebody, you feel happy with somebody, so there's a joy and trust, so it becomes love. There's a trust and fear. Can you give me an example of trust and fear? So there's a trust and fear. It leads to submission. So as teacher, हम क्या करते हैं? हम क्लास में जाते हैं, though the children trust us, but we create an environment of fear. सुनना ही पड़ेगा टीचर की तो. So students, they'll let go. Okay, fine. I'll listen to you. So they're submissive in nature then. So these emotions, they interlap with each other. They are, some form of this and some of this. So they are primarily very confusing. But are your children able to understand that if I'm talking about rage, a rage can be annoyance, a rage can be anger, a rage can be many more words associated with it, with many more forms. What is your reason? So first we need to understand what and how my emotion, what is the emotion I'm feeling right now. There's another Dr. Gloria. According to her, there is certain uncomfortable and certain comfortable emotion. So why we are studying this, why we are talking about these wheels? Because these wheels will help us give vocabulary. So I'm feeling sad because I'm hurt. A student can come and tell you, ma'am, I'm feeling sad because my friend has not told me that there was a test today and I didn't prepare for it. मैंने तो तैयारी नहीं करी, मैंने तो फ्रेंड को कॉल करा था कि मुझे बता दो कि क्या क्या हुआ है, मैं एब्सेंट थी, बट उसने नहीं बताया. आई माइट बी हर्ट, आई माइट बी डिसअपॉइंटेड, फाइन, आई माइट बी स्केर्ड because I'm so powerless. I can't do anything. Or maybe I'm so anxious. Oh my God, today I have a result. So I'm scared and I'm anxious. Again, they're overlapping, but we need to have this kind of chart in our classrooms so that my child does have a vocabulary how the children are feeling. So your emotions, there's one very beautiful quote, I like it, from Sabah Tahir. Your emotions make you human. Even the unpleasant ones have a purpose. Don't lock them away. So when I'm talking about controlling emotions, I should not never be controlling my emotions. There's a term called managing emotions. So instead of controlling, I should be managing my emotions. If I ignore them, they'll just get louder and angrier. So many rehab centers and retreats are there, to take out your, जो आपके दबे हुए emotions है, उनको बाहर निकालने के लिए. That is because, and there's one term, PTSD, post-trauma, something, something. So post-stress, PTSD, post-trauma stress disorder, something like this. So there are things, because as per my generation is concerned, जो मेरी वाली generation है, हमें तो कभी मौका ही नहीं मिला. हमें यही बताया गया, गुस्सा आ रहा है तो दबा लो अपना गुस्सा, सुनना है आपको. But this generation which you are teaching is not like us. They are more vocal. फिर इनको डिप्रेशन भी होता है, एंजाइटी भी होती है. So we cannot ask them to ignore their emotion. We have to teach them how to manage their emotions. So I really like this quote. Now, why are emotions important? What do we get if we study the emotions? Emotions provide information about ourselves. कब हमें गुस्सा आता है, कब हमें खुशी मिलती है, कब हम दुखी होते हैं. आप देखोगे कि सेम सेट ऑफ circumstances में few of people, they are not sad, but few of them are very sad. कुछ लोग किसी सिचुएशन को, फेलियर को फॉर एग्जाम्पल, बहुत सपोर्टिवली लेते हैं, बहुत पॉजिटिवली लेते हैं, कुछ लोग नेगेटिवली लेते हैं. आई एम सॉरी फॉर दिस ओवरलैपिंग, आई डोंट नो व्हाई दिस इज हैपनिंग. सो इमोशंस टेल अस वेदर वी वांट टू अप्रोच और अवॉइड अ सिचुएशन. अब हमें पता है कि इस सिचुएशन में हमें गुस्सा आने वाला है, लेट्स अवॉइड इट. So it gives us a clue. That is why we study emotion. That is why we try to understand ourselves. Emotions let us know whether an event is related to our lives or not. Somehow we want to understand, is it relevant to us or is it not relevant to us? There's so many things which are happening, but they're not affecting me. Emotions help us to decide what actions to take, but they don't require us to carry out the action. Emotion is not equivalent to action, but it helps us decide what action we need to take. It also helps us to build empathy, to understand others' emotions, beliefs, and intentions. Emotions can also motivate or prevent others' behavior, and they can motivate to avoid certain behaviors. So, other behaviors or my behavior, I can avoid that. Anything else you want to add on to the list? Although this is not a limited list, there are many benefits to understand emotions. But this is a comprehensive list to understand why emotions are important. Do you think somehow these emotions are linked to learning? How these emotions are linked to learning? Any one of you can share? So, when I say emotions, and emotions, I'm talking what kind of situations और why they are important. कैसे ये इमोशंस हमारे लर्निंग के प्रोसेस के लिए अच्छे हैं. So if I say emotions tell us whether we want to approach or avoid a situation, what do you say? Can you quote an example to communicate our feeling? Understand a situation. In language, so many emotion is used. Yes, ma'am. So Suhani ma'am will talk about how we can incorporate teaching SEL. There are three strategies which I'm going to talk about today. How you will incorporate SEL in your teaching. To handle situations, to express the feelings, curiosity to learn. Very good, Kalyani ma'am. Can you little elaborate on how curiosity to learn is linked to emotions? Anyone? They can bring a change in the student's perspective and behavior. Very true. If we are emotionally not well, can't elaborate on the topic to learn. Okay, great. Very nice. So we all understand that emotions are important and we need some management of these emotions to study in a better situation. Suppose there's a child who's attached, suppose a grade 3 child, where friendship matters a lot. अब उसका friend जो है, उसके father का transfer हो गया, the friend is moving. There's a situation in your class. When there are plethora of emotions, you cannot teach how to manage all the emotions in one academic year. But you have to take examples from the real life incidences. So if somebody is leaving for betterment. So you need to make sure that the child is not too sad about the friend leaving. You have to quote certain things and you have to make the child friendly with other kids. So every day you must be facing one or the other situation. Why we are together here, it's a very vast topic actually. But I'll give you 5 pillars on which you have to work and some of the strategies which you can implement in your class for handling social emotional learning. So emotion regulation is when, according to a researcher, James Gross, when we regulate our emotions. What is regulation? It's like when we are using we are processing the impact, which emotions we have, when we have them, and how we experience and express them. So it's basically understand yourself and your personality. So आपको कब खुशी मिलती है या कब गुस्सा आता है, और किन किन चीजों से गुस्सा आता है, उसको आप किस तरीके से एक्सप्रेस करते हो. So there are few components of every emotion. So we'll talk about one of the emotion, which is like, before I get into that, what may occur when someone becomes emotionally dysregulated. So when I'm saying managing the emotions, not controlling the emotions. अगर आप अंदर से आपको गुस्सा आ रहा है या अंदर से आप सैड हो बट स्टिल यू आर स्माइलिंग, तो वो क्या होगा, कहीं ना कहीं वो सैडनेस अक्यूमुलेट होती जाएगी. Okay, and that then it is going to hurt you and your body, your mind, somehow or the other. So प्रॉब्लम आती है जब हम अपने इमोशंस को डिसरेगुलेट कर देते हैं. He who controls, another quote, very beautiful, he who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is a mightier still. Fine. So you have to master yourself, understand yourself. Why I'm talking about all this? Once you understand, you'll be able to instill these characteristics into your children. So I'll come back to competencies of this. I will first talk about which emotion am I talking about? Which emotion? Aggression, anger, furious. How many of you feel anger is not good? Is anger not good? Anger is not good? Yes or no? Is anger good? Ruchika is saying anger is good. Sometimes it's not. Kalpana is saying, depending upon the situation. Very diplomatic answer. Okay, not good, not good. Okay, it overpowers, sometimes good, sometimes bad. It's not good. Most of you are saying it's not good. I say it's good. Anger is just another form of emotion. But then what I have to do? If I accept, okay, angry, if I am angry, it's okay. If somebody else is also angry, that is also okay. नॉर्मली सिचुएशंस में क्या होता है कि कहीं पे आपको गुस्सा नहीं भी आ रहा हो, लेकिन दूसरे को गुस्सा आता है और वो कुछ एब्सर्ड बोलता है, कुछ चीजें बोलता है, तो आप फिर रिटेलिएट करते हो और आपको अगेन उस पे और गुस्सा आ जाता है. सो एंगर या गुस्सा आना इज नॉट बैड. वी हैव टू एक्सेप्ट दैट anger, all the uncomfortable emotions are also emotions. So first thing जो लानी है वो acceptance लानी है. कि acceptance क्या है इमोशन की. जब आप खुद को एक्सेप्ट करोगे उस इमोशन के साथ, तो आपको दूसरों का भी एम्पथी भी आपके अंदर डेवलप होगी. ओके, सो व्हेन यू आर एंग्री, व्हाट अदर्स सी, sometimes you're clenching your jaw, sometimes you're frowning or scowling, or you're shouting, or you're sweating excessively, and there's a rapid heartbeat. This is what are the external symptoms, what others are seeing. And this I'm talking about your perspective as well as the perspective of the person who's in front of you. But what is actually happening inside? What this person is very angry. I can see he's swearing or insulting others, he's talking bad words, he's shaking or pacing, he's sweating. What is actually happening? अंदर क्या चल रहा है? Let's see अंदर क्या चल रहा है. Sadness. It could be because of the sadness. I'm sad. I'm actually, somebody has hurt me, I'm sad, because of which I'm showing my anger to others. Maybe I have a shame or a guilt. आपने बहुत देखा होगा कि टीनेजर्स बहुत आजकल एंग्री होते हैं, बहुत अपना एंगर डिस्प्ले करते हैं, बात बात पे उनको गुस्सा आता है। एज अ पेरेंट, अगर आप एक टीनेजर के पेरेंट हैं, या अगर आप टीनेजर्स को पढ़ाते हैं, तो उनके अंदर कहीं ना कहीं किसी बात का गिल्ट होता है, या कोई एंजाइटी या फियर होता है। फोमो, देयर इज अ वर्ड, फियर ऑफ मिसिंग आउट, उनको फोमो बहुत ज्यादा होता है। ओके, समटाइम्स दे फील आई हैव नो कंट्रोल, समटाइम्स किसी चीज की फ्रस्ट्रेशन होती है। सो समथिंग एल्स इज हैपनिंग internally, but how they're showing. These two pictures are super pictures which are actually, showing ki ho kya raha hai, how things are happening inside. Now, what should this person do? If you meet somebody who's like this, आपको कैसा फील होगा? How would you feel? How would you feel about this person? You don't know how the person is feeling inside. How would you feel? आपको कैसा लगेगा इस इंसान से मिलकर? विल यू लेट गो? हो रहा है गुस्सा, चलो उस सिचुएशन को अवॉइड कर देते हैं, या आप उसे समझाने की कोशिश करोगे, या आप उसे रोकने की कोशिश करोगे? व्हाट विल यू डू? या आप गुस्सा हो जाओगे? यू विल ऑल्सो गेट एंग्री एट हिम। अरे क्यों गुस्सा आ रहा है तुम्हें? हम बच्चों से आज बात करते हैं, बच्चे बोलते हैं कि हमारे पास ये नहीं है जो दूसरे के पास है। ये उन्हें गुस्सा आ रहा होता है कि मेरे पास तो ऐसा फोन नहीं है, मेरे पास ऐसा लैपटॉप नहीं है। तो हमें भी गुस्सा आता है एज पेरेंट्स, एज टीचर्स, की वाई यू आर एक्सपेक्टिंग। लेकिन हमने उनको इन इमोशंस को, जो वो फील कर रहे हैं, उनको मैनेज करना सिखाना है। सो आई गेट बैक टू दिस, वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इनसाइड। सो वी नीड टू टॉक टू द पर्सन, there are certain questions to be asked. What happened? What triggered your anger? क्या हुआ? हो सकता है उस समय इंसान बात करने के उस सिचुएशन में ही ना हो, बट लेटर ऑन यू कैन टॉक टू द पर्सन. What happened? Did someone or something upset you? What emotions did it make you feel? क्या हुआ ऐसा? किसी ने रिजेक्ट किया आपको? कोई एम्बैरेसमेंट है? कोई ह्यूमिलिएशन हुई है आपके साथ? बुलीनेस हुई है? कोई आउटरेज या इनजस्टिस हुआ है? आर यू जेलस? आर यू ashamed of something? Are you feeling lonely? What is the problem? So this again, this is a chart which will help you to understand why a person is feeling something. So I know if I look at these two pictures, this is the outside and this is the inside. This is what the person is feeling inside. But how to take this out? इस चीज को, सेकंड पिक्चर को समझने के लिए you need to get inside the brain of the person. So do you feel scared, embarrassed, hurt? You have to ask question. Do you feel that one of your boundaries or values have been crossed? What is it and why it is important to you? So if you're feeling hurt, is it really important to you if you are giving permission to somebody to hurt you? Why it is important? Maybe the person is important. Sometimes some people, maybe our neighbors, say something about us. So we feel hurt. And then we'll think, who are they? Why am I listening? Why am I even listening to them? क्यों सुन रही हूं मैं उनकी? They're not important to me. So I need to understand why the emotion which I'm feeling right now, the reason, is it really important to me? So after these two activities, I want to take you to this thing. What are the competencies of SEL? अभी जैसे मैंने पूछा आप लोगों से कि किसी को गुस्सा आ रहा होगा तो आप क्या करोगे? क्या आप उससे बात करोगे या उस पर दोबारा गुस्सा हो जाओगे? अगर किसी को गुस्सा आ रहा है, आप भी गुस्सा हो रहे हो, यू आर ऑल्सो शोइंग एंगर, इज इट सॉल्विंग द द होल सिचुएशन। कैसे हमें कोई फायदा हो रहा है? No solving, no resolution is there, isn't it? So we need to resolve. For this, there's a organization जिसको हम कासल बोलते हैं. Castle is collaborative for academic, social and emotional learning. ये जो एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, ये प्री के टू 12 स्टूडेंट्स का बिहेवियर को स्टडी करा इन्होंने. उनके लिए कुछ रेक्टिफाइड प्रोसेसेस बनाए, कुछ रेक्टिफिकेशंस करी, जिसके हिसाब से उन्होंने एक प्रोसेस आइडेंटिफाई किया जिसके 5 स्टेप्स हैं. There are 5 core competencies which you can apply both in the classroom as well as at home. And these are not limited to students only, because this organization is working for students. The thing which I'm going to talk about is very well implicative for adults as well, for us as well. So let's see what are these competencies. So first competency is self-awareness, जिस पे हम अभी तक बात कर रहे थे कि गुस्सा आ रहा है तो क्यों आ रहा है, खुश है तो क्यों है, व्हाट इज द रीजन, व्हाट मेक्स अस डू दैट. क्या ये हमारी, जैसे हमें छोटी सी चीजों पे खुशी हो जाती है लेकिन बाद में उसी चीज पे हम सैड होते हैं. ओ आज ओटीटी देख लिया मैंने, सारे सीरीज देख डाला, बट बाद तब तो बड़े खुश है देख रहे हैं, लेकिन उसके बाद क्या होता है, सैडनेस आती है कि मैंने टाइम वेस्ट कर दिया, मैं इतना कुछ कर सकती थी इस टाइम में. तो मैं अपनी फीलिंग्स को अपने आप एज एन आइडेंटिटी को अंडरस्टैंड करूं. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड सेल्फ अवेयरनेस. नेक्स्ट इज सेल्फ मैनेजमेंट. जब मुझे पता चल गया कि मुझे कहाँ पे गुस्सा आता है, कहाँ पे मुझे खुशी मिलती है, तो उस चीज को कहीं मैं मैनेज कर सकती हूँ बेटा. इफ आई एम सेल्फ अवेयर, what do you say? If I'm self aware, if I know myself, how am I going to react in this situation? Can I manage myself better? Can I have some responses? Do you agree I can manage myself better if I know myself? Perfect. If I'm managing myself, what is happening? Let's take anger ka example only. There's something which triggers my anger. ओके, कोई भी एक ऐसी चीज है जिससे मेरा एंगर ट्रिगर होता है. नाउ आई हैव अंडरस्टूड दैट ट्रिगर. सपोज somebody is saying some bad words I don't like. So what I'll do, I know I'll be angry, so I'll leave that place. So that is self management, जिसकी वजह से क्या हुआ, मेरे उस इंसान के साथ रिलेशंस बिगड़े नहीं. सो आई एम मोर इक्विप्ड विद माई रिलेशनशिप स्किल्स. मेरे रिलेशनशिप स्किल्स अच्छे हुए. मैंने एक रिस्पॉन्सिबल डिसीजन मेकिंग किया, एक डिसीजन लिया कि लेट्स नॉट स्टैंड हियर, लेट्स मूव आउट ऑफ दिस प्लेस. दिस इज अ रिस्पॉन्सिबल डिसीजन मेकिंग, जिस वजह से एक सोशली सीन नहीं क्रिएट हुआ. सो आई बिकम मोर सोशली अवेयर. एंड दीज आर द 5 pillars of SEL: self awareness, self management, responsible decision making, relationship skills, which leads to more socially aware individuals. That's why we call it social emotional learning. So there's a whole cycle which is being running, and there are activities involved in this. Whenever you are teaching incorporating SCL, you have to talk about all these pillars. You have to make sure that your lesson plan has all these 5 pillars. So we'll go by, today we are going to study in detail about self-awareness and self-management and how you can implement this in your classes. So self-awareness is basically labeling one's feeling, relating feelings and thoughts to behavior, accurate self-assessment of strengths and challenges. Very, very important. मेरे strength क्या है और मेरे challenges क्या है. My self-efficacy, what I think of myself, and to develop optimism. Now, self-management is not controlling emotions. It's regulating one's emotion, managing emotions, managing stress, controlling ourselves. Like I chose not to speak, but to move out that of that situation. Self motivation. We can talk about stress management, setting and achieving goals. Then, responsible decision making, considering the well being of self and others. Recognize one one's responsibility to behave ethically, basing decisions on safety, social, and ethical consideration. Evaluating realistic consequences. होगा क्या? What will happen? अभी हम देखेंगे एक एग्जाम्पल पे बात करेंगे कि हाउ वी विल evaluate consequences. What activity can help us in doing this? Then making constructive choices. Relationship skills, building relationship with diverse individuals and groups, then communicating clearly. What else? Working cooperatively, then resolving conflicts and seeking help. Social awareness is perspective taking on a larger level, empathy, respecting diversity, understanding social and ethical norms of behavior, and recognizing family, school, and community supports. Now, as we have already spoken about self awareness, it's an ability to focus on yourself and how your actions, thoughts, or emotions do or don't align with your internal standards. If you're highly self aware, you can objectively evaluate yourself and manage your emotions, align your behavior with your value, and understand correctly how others perceive you. दूसरे कैसे देख रहे हैं आपको? आपकी पहले आइडेंटिटी वो क्लियर होनी चाहिए. Then we have done this activity. Self-management is our ability to manage our behavior. It's like, these include managing stress, delaying gratification, motivating oneself, and setting and working towards personal and academic goals. Now, this is one thing which you can implement your class, a feeling check-in. So I can have those two wheels pasted in my class as a chart, and if you search you'll get it, those two charts. Then you can ask children to make this checklist, how you're feeling right now. Then they will write, I feel this way because something that might help is, so I'm feeling sad. What will help? Something, I might talk to somebody and I want to vent out my things, so then I'll feel better. So that something will help me. Anything else I would like to share? Anything else? Maybe something for others, something for the world, something. So you can have this feelings check-in when the students, and this is more practical for middle schoolers and high schoolers. And these are some anger management strategies. क्या करे? गुस्सा आ रहा है तो गुस्सा आना तो बताया कि ठीक है, it's okay, but what to do? I have to teach our kids how to manage their anger. Either they can walk away and cool down, either they can have steady breath. So a lot of time, when somebody is angry, we ask them to take deep breaths to calm down. So maybe count to 20, or maybe in the reverse order, they can count to 20, they can stretch, they can use certain I statements, they can take a break, exercise, squeeze, and relax their muscles, push against the wall, or scribble on a paper. These are some of the anger management strategies. This is only for one emotion. They can listen to music. I'm getting responses. Okay, drink water. Wonderful. Chill down their mind. So if I ask them to, bacha, chill down your mind, they'll not do. We have to give them directions. What exactly they are supposed to do. Okay. So there are certain anger manage, and this is only for anger. और बहुत सारे इमोशंस बच्चे फेस करते हैं. टॉन द पेपर, यस. एक पेपर दे दो, उसके छोटे छोटे टिट्स बिट्स बना दे वो. ये भी कर सकता है, तो उसका एंगर लेट आउट हो जाएगा। वो कंट्रोल नहीं करेगा, वो लेट आउट कर देगा, जिसकी वजह से वो बिल्ड नहीं होगा उसके अंदर। वंडरफुल। देन आई कैन, इंस्टेड ऑफ तब काम करना जब गुस्सा आ रहा है, लेट अस गिव अ प्रोएक्टिव स्ट्रैटेजी टू मैनेज एंगर, और प्रोएक्टिव स्ट्रैटेजी टू मैनेज अदर इमोशंस। तो जो ये फीलिंग चेकलिस्ट की बात करी थी हम लोगों ने, दिस इज द प्रोएक्टिव स्ट्रैटेजी, कि हम रोज बच्चों से पूछें कि क्या करा जा सकता है, how you're feeling today. Okay, so we can talk about feelings. We can have a calm down area, एक एरिया जहाँ पे बच्चा आराम से रिलैक्स कर सके, in a classroom, in a school, something like this. Children might take an advantage of this too, अगर आप एक calm down area बनाते हो, but then they have to fill the checklist. So that would give a assessment of were they really feeling angry or sad or something. No, practice mindfulness. Play self-regulation games. There can be certain breaks which you can play in your classrooms. There's one infinity का symbol होता है जिसे हम lazy eight बोलते हैं, but जिसमें breathe in and breathe out exercises कर सकते हैं. So certain proactive strategies आप पहले से ही अपने क्लासरूम में इनकॉर्पोरेट करके रखिए. सो इफ यू कैन सी दीज पिलर्स, ऑल द 5 पिलर्स, जैसे हमने अभी एग्जाम्पल के साथ बात करी थी, दे आर ऑल कनेक्टेड. अभी आप देखिए बहुत बड़ा है ये, इट्स अ वेरी बिग टॉपिक. सो सेल्फ अवेयरनेस में हमने सिर्फ इमोशंस की बात करी है अभी, लेकिन यहाँ पे स्ट्रेंथ्स भी हैं, लिमिटेशंस की भी बात कर सकते हैं, बच्चों के इंटरेस्ट की भी बात कर सकते हैं, अवेयरनेस ऑफ थॉट्स एंड बिहेवियर की बात कर सकते हैं. फाइन. सेल्फ मैनेजमेंट में हाउ टू रेगुलेट देयर इमोशन, फाइंडिंग मोटिवेशन एंड गोल सेटिंग, प्लानिंग एंड ऑर्गेनाइजिंग, रिस्पॉन्सिबल चॉइसेस, सेफ्टी. ये हमारी चेकलिस्ट, ये एज अ टीचर हमारी चेकलिस्ट होनी चाहिए फॉर अ ईयर. जो भी क्लास आपके लिए आप रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं, उनको आप क्या क्या एससीएल के टॉपिक्स कराना चाहते हैं, व्हाट ऑल यू वांट टू टीच देम. So, these are some of the characteristic traits which we need to develop in our children. World Economic Forum. I hope you must be aware of World Economic Forum, what it is. It's an organization which talk about how the economy is going to work, how it is working right now, what new jobs are coming, what new jobs will be there after 10 years or 20 years. And believe me, even they are clueless. They don't know what will happen after 10 years or 20 years. So they have talked about 16 skills that each child should have. Some of them are literary skills, and some of them are competency and character building skills. So these character building and competency skills, even our NCF is talking about, which is the National Curriculum Framework. Fine. So these are few of the character traits which we need to build in them. So loyalty or honesty, if I say. So if I say honesty is the best policy, we all know, we quote a story, and do you think they understand that honesty is the best policy from a story? Is it possible just from the story that they understand? It's not possible. Then what to do? Put them in situations. Make such situations. If you're telling a story, ask them, if you were there, what would have you done? Would you be honest in that situation? जैसे मैं आज आपसे पूछ रही हूँ कि अगर गुस्सा आएगा तो क्या करोगे, या सामने वाले को गुस्सा आ रहा है तो क्या करोगे? Put them in situations, ask questions. Yes, we need to apply them in real life. Ask them to quote an example when they have faced such a challenge where they were thinking of doing something wrong, but then they decided not to do it. So these are some of the character traits that we need to build. So definitely we have already talked about emotions are linked to learning. Every teacher knows that learning is a very complex process that is affected by many different factors, including the factors that are directly impacting the emotions. इमोशन जैसा होगा, बच्चे का सैड है उसका अटेंशन ही नहीं जाएगा, ज्यादा खुश है तो भी अटेंशन कम हो जाएगा। मोटिवेशन क्या है बच्चे का, हाउ द रिलेशनशिप्स आर गोइंग। आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू आर फ्रॉम मेट्रोज, बट मेट्रोज में पेरेंट्स का भी बहुत प्रॉब्लम है। एज पे आप लोग भी एज टीचर्स फेस करते होंगे, पेरेंट्स के पास टाइम ही नहीं है बच्चों के लिए। बोथ ऑफ द पेरेंट्स आर वर्किंग, वो सुबह के गए शाम को आ रहे हैं, चिल्ड्रन आर विद नानीज or with grandparents, so they don't have a relation. Even when they are with grandparents, that is even better, but if they are with nannies or maids, that is the worst. What they are going through throughout the day, we don't know. So we need to understand what is happening in their life. So emotions have a direct impact on our focus, on our attention. It helps us to remember and retrieve information. जब मैंने सुना ही नहीं ध्यान से, I was not attentive, I won't be able to remember or retrieve any kind of information. Okay? आपको भी अपने बचपन की वो बातें याद होंगी, सारी तो नहीं याद होंगी, वो बातें याद होंगी कहीं ना कहीं जो किसी इमोशनल मेमोरी से अटैच्ड है, इजंट इट। कहीं किसी वेडिंग में गए थे, या कोई फ्रेंड था बचपन में जो जिसके साथ खेलते थे, तो कुछ ऐसे, या कुछ पेरेंट्स कहीं वेकेशन पे ले गए थे, कहीं ना कहीं जहाँ पे इमोशंस अटैच होंगे, जहाँ पे बहुत गुस्सा आया हो या बहुत खुशी मिली हो, वही वही चीजें हमें याद रहती हैं। फाइन। ये हमारे एकेडमिक कंटेंट को इफेक्ट कर पाता है, एबिलिटी टू रीजन। हम कोई भी सिचुएशन को समझने के लिए हमारा इमोशनल स्टेट स्टेबल होना चाहिए। Positive emotions helps us to think more flexibly and creatively, whereas negative emotions impact that. They help us to learn, integrate with our cognitive process in order to guide our thinking and decision making. ये जो बड़े बड़े terms हैं, decision making, problem solving, NCF is also talking about that. So हमें सिर्फ academics अच्छा ही नहीं करना, हमें बच्चे की overall personality पे काम करना है. Emotions motivate us to learn, especially positive ones such as enjoyment. So I'll be a little quick. I think the time is running short. How as educators you should approach SCL. So it's not a subject like a history or a maths and there's one period allocated to it, but it can be woven into the fabric of a school's curriculum. So there are three ways you as educator can, incorporate SEL. So one is explicit SEL skill instruction, wherein you can have like the class teachers can talk to them in their whatever you call zero period or homeroom period, whatever. You can talk to them about that. जैसे हमने feeling checklist का एग्जाम्पल लिया था, टीचर अपने नॉर्मल इंस्ट्रक्शनल प्रैक्टिसेस में डाल सकता है, और अकेडमिक करिकुलर एरियाज में साइंस के थ्रू, मैथ्स के थ्रू, इंग्लिश के थ्रू, हिंदी के थ्रू या एनी अदर लैंग्वेज दैट यू आर टीचिंग, सोशल साइंस के थ्रू, कंप्यूटर्स के थ्रू, you can talk about various social emotional perspective to children. So these are the approaches. इनके कुछ शॉर्ट टर्म आउटकम्स होते हैं, कुछ बिहेवियरल आउटकम्स होते हैं। एससीएल स्किल का एक्विजिशन होता है, इम्प्रूव्ड एटीट्यूड होता है, और लर्निंग एनहांस होती है। ये शॉर्ट टर्म आउटकम्स है। इन्हीं चीज को अगर आप इम्पैक्ट देखोगे इसका कि बाहर क्या इम्पैक्ट होता है बच्चे की लाइफ में, सो पॉजिटिव सोशल बिहेवियर आता है, कंडक्ट की प्रॉब्लम्स कम होती है, इमोशनल डिस्ट्रेस कम हो जाता है। अगर बच्चे से आपने रेजिलियंस की, फेलियर की बात करी है, और आफ्टर फेलियर गेट अप एंड फेस द वर्ल्ड पे बात करिए, तो उसका इमोशनल डिस्ट्रेस बहुत कम हो जाएगा। एक्सपेक्टेशंस होती है पेरेंट्स की आजकल की, मेरा बच्चा बस 95% मार्क्स लाए। इफ अ चाइल्ड इज नॉट एबल टू डू दैट, द चाइल्ड फील्स स्ट्रेस्ड, और डिप्रेशन में आ जाते हैं बच्चे, और एक्सट्रीम स्टेप्स भी उठा लेते हैं। तो अगर एज टीचर हम अपनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी में ये और एड ऑन कर दें कि हम उनको एससीएल कंपोनेंट देंगे, सो मे बी वी आर हेल्पिंग चिल्ड्रन and improved academic performances. So there are few strategies. I'll quickly go through this. These are, number one, when you can explicitly include SEL instruction. So their students may write a journal, what they're grateful for, or you can keep a gratitude jar in your classroom and every day they'll put this is the date and today I'm grateful for whatever I have. I have a good bag, I have a good water bottle, I have beautiful, a house to live in, I have wonderful parents. So they may be, they may show their gratitude to different blessings they have. How this helps? How do you think this helps? Do you think this activity helps? How do you think this helps? Can I have few responses? How this activity is going to help? To whom would you like to give your gratitude today? Name the person or maybe the relationship of the person, maybe your husband, maybe your mother-in-law, father-in-law, mother, father. किसको आज आप gratitude देना चाहते हो? Can I have some gratitudes from your side? Say, today I'm grateful for having my mother, having God with my side, elder sister, okay, yes, my daughter, to my family, to my brother, to my parents, husband, very good. Grateful for my grandma. My boy is very nice. Okay. So today, can you go back and tell them, I really love you. And I'm so blessed to have you in my life. They could be your parents, they could be your brother, sister, anyone which you have named. Just do this activity. Go back home, tell them, I love you, and I'm so blessed to have you in my life. Sometimes being vocal about your emotions really help. Somebody has raised hand. Do they have any question? For children, you can have budding classes, buddy classes. बडी क्लासेस में क्या होता है कि बड़े बच्चे छोटे बच्चों को एक पीरियड आप ऐसा दें जहाँ पे ग्रेड 6 जो है ग्रेड 2 को आके मैनेज कर रही है, हेल्प कर रही है, उनको पढ़ने में मैनेज कर हेल्प कर रही है, उनको कोई डिसिप्लिन में हेल्प कर रही है, कुछ फील्ड डे बडीज बना दीजिए, असेंबली पार्टनर्स। क्यों असेंबली में क्लास की लाइन में ही खड़ा होना है? दे शुड हैव बडीज। लेट देम डिजाइन अ लोगो, अ टीम नेम एंड अ सेइंग फॉर देयर बडी क्लासेस। इससे क्या होगा कि कोलैबोरेशन में काम करना आएगा, बच्चों को एम्पथी डेवलप होगी छोटे बच्चों के लिए, और छोटे बच्चों को रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी समझ में आएगी बड़े बच्चों की। सो यू कैन हैव बडी क्लासेस। Then this is something I can share with you. This is a personal connect, how you can go. This is a lesson plan which I wanted to discuss about. For example, you can, when you go and as a teacher, explicit SEL instruction आप दे सकते हो, आप जाओ, connect करो, fine. You have to be in a in-group or a personal setting. Let all students know you'll be reaching out to them individually to connect and hear more about. So individuality is very, very important. Make connections with each and every one. Show that they are significant to you and you care about them. So these are the dialogues that you can say. I'm glad to have the chance to chat one-on-one with you, and I'm excited to have you in my classroom. So this is making connection with children. They start trusting you. Personalize, ask a question that invites the student to share as much or as little as they are comfortable sharing. How are you? Today, how do you feel? Like the feeling checklist that we have done. That's a very, very effective tool. Then invite feedback. Show your student that you value their perspective and are open to making changes based on their input. And end on an optimistic, forward thinking note. What's the best thing you've seen today? What's keeping you going? What makes you motivated? What makes you happy? I'm making a class playlist. Which song would you like to hear? Involve them. So make connection, make them feel important, involve them. These are the three tricks you can do with your kids. When you are incorporating with academic areas, you have to be very clear what you are talking about. Only take one competency at a time. If you're talking about anger, take anger. If you're talking about loyalty, take loyalty. If you're talking about resilience, take resilience, but don't mix them. Otherwise, they won't be able to make sense. So you have to identify and explain the SEL competency you'll focus on, then identify the academic objective and topic. Now, what is that? Do you want to incorporate it in science, in maths, in SST, which topic you are taking, what you are trying to incorporate? Then identify your SEL lesson objectives. Now, this is the lesson objective. This must be a part of the lesson plan. Demonstrate, this is a question, demonstrate the ability to actively listen and understand multiple perspectives in a group setting. So, suppose you are teaching SST. So you have to give such activities where they actively listen to each other. They understand multiple perspective in a group setting. They should work collaboratively to solve the problem and share and discuss different events. They should be able to draw evidence. वो एविडेंस निकाल के लाएं, inferences बनाएं, अपना व्यू पॉइंट रखें, एंड दे शुड अंडरस्टैंड हाउ टू स्ट्रेंथन टीम वर्क एंड रिलेशनशिप स्किल्स. ये जितने भी डिफरेंटली कलर्ड वर्ड्स हैं, दीज आर ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ SEL. Then you can create fun and engaging SEL activities. For example, अगर आप responsible decision making बता रहे हो, तो एक क्लासरूम कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनाते हैं. उस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में हम कब शोर मचा सकते हैं, कब हमें शांत रहना है, कब हमें विस्पर करना है, या कोई सोशल अवेयरनेस कैंपेन हम बना सकते हैं. सो रिस्पॉन्सिबल डिसीजन मेकिंग, अगेन द की इज इन्वॉल्व देम. सो आई हैव दिस पिक्चर. What all? I hope you all know which story I'm talking about. A very traditional story. All of us have heard of the story. Can you tell me what all SCL components you can pick up from this story? Tortoise and hare story. Wonderful. What all we can, if I have to give this in a group setting, what I can talk about? I can, what I can talk about? If I have to give a group project where I'm talking about multiple perspective, so you have to think beyond happiness and joy. You have to think about perspective. Wonderful. Slowly achieving your goal, positive attitude. The hare accepted his failure and not getting angry. Very nice, very beautiful. Focus on goals. Very nice. आज की कहानी में इस कहानी का अंत क्या हो सकता है? तो मैम इज टॉकिंग अबाउट स्टोरी एक्सटेंशंस. ब्यूटिफुल. दैट इज अगेन अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग way of getting student responses. Don't leave your hopes. I'm so blessed to have you as my audience with so much of contribution. Thank you so much. I'm really blessed to have you as audience. Wonderful. I'll want to draw your attention towards this one of the cut tree. So one tree is there, but the other tree is cut. So even in this picture, you can use, I've actually used this picture in one of my classrooms. So you can use this picture to sensitize them towards environment as well. It could be an English class. It could be an EVS class. If we are teaching kindergartners, it could be a maths class as well. So with the picture, with the story, with science, with SST, with maths, I can teach SCL. I can incorporate that SCL component in my classroom. So I have to create a roadmap. I'll not go in details of the roadmap. So you can create your own roadmap, take one SCL competency at a time, work on it, how you can build a community around that, how you can build a culture of the school around it, how you can talk about student well-being and mental health around it. So you start with one, make a tool, make activities, frame questions, give activities to children, and ask them to sustain those habits. So again, this is a quick 10 pointers. I'll just read out. सो स्टार्ट द डे विद द स्टूडेंट चेक इन, जैसे हमने एक एंगर का करा था, ऐसे आप और चीजों के लिए भी चेक इन बना सकते हैं. देन क्रिएट एन अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर पार्टनर एंड ग्रुप वर्क, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, क्योंकि एनईपी जो है 4 स्किल्स की बात करती है, जिसमें कोलैबोरेशन इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ देम. सो कोलैबोरेट करेंगे तो डेफिनेटली कम्युनिकेट भी करेंगे, और आपने कोई एक्टिविटी दी होगी जिसे क्रिएटिवली प्रेजेंट करेंगे आफ्टर क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग. So all 4 C's will be incorporated. You have to nurture a culture of kindness. You have to make everybody's efforts important. You have to build social emotional vocabulary, very, very important. We have to go beyond only sad, happy, mad, etc. So we have to talk about other emotions as well. जैसे हमने serenity की बात करी, rage की बात करी. So we need to talk about them. We need to build the vocabulary. Then include reflective writing, जैसे journal मैंने आपको दिखाया. Incorporate a calming down center. So आप अपने क्लासरूम में या कहीं भी कुछ चीजें, कुछ what do you call it, flickering के लिए होता है, टूल्स वो रख सकते हो, बॉल, पिंग पोंग बॉल्स रख सकते हो, जिससे अगर बच्चे को गुस्सा आ रहा है तो वो थोड़ा सा शांत हो जाए, या वो एंग्शियस हो रहा है या स्ट्रेस हो रहा है उसे, तो वो थोड़ा सा शांत हो जाए. Then talk to them, very very important. Build personal connections. Then teach mindfulness. Children and teen be in the moment and aware of their bodies and minds through breathing exercises or sensory exercises, and how to be aware of their surroundings. Then encourage expression through art. Art is again a very calming tool. Then teach kids to work towards a common goal. मेक देम अ कम्युनिटी. उनकी क्लास को एक कम्युनिटी में ट्रांसफॉर्म करिए. डोंट लेट देम compete with each other. Ask them to compete with themselves. उसके मार्क्स आ गए, मेरे नहीं आए, दैट शुडंट बी अ प्रॉब्लम. मेरे इतने आए हैं, अब मेरा ग्रोथ माइंडसेट क्या है? नाउ वेयर डू आई वांट टू रीच? What next I want to learn? How will I achieve that goal? That should be the focus of each and every kid of your class. So, a lot of things: anger, this, resolving conflict, social development. These are all the benefits of implementing SCL. I'll get back to this. Okay. So, I think I have missed out on a slide which states that 11% academic improvement आ जाएगा आपके बच्चों में once you start implementing this. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing now? How do you think you are doing? So, this is a self check-in. 7, great. So 7 means you stand here if you are between 6 and 10. What is helping you to be there? So you have to, this is for yourself. Just click a picture, do this activity with yourself. What is helping you to be there? What can you do more of to stay here? And what does bring at this number tell you that you need? Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's a feedback to me as well that you're feeling great. Now, are you ready? How many of you are ready to take the next step and implement SCL activities in your classroom to have kids something like this? आपको लग रहा है इन्हें किसी की चिंता है? Do you think they don't learn? They don't understand? They don't study? They all does. But they does with happy minds. Thank you so much. I expect all of you will nurture hearts, foster empathy, and empower minds to create a more compassionate and connected world. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for your active participation in today's webinar. A special appreciation to Sweta ma'am for her enlightening session. Thank you, ma'am. Before we conclude, please take a moment to click on the attendance link provided in the chat box. And we look forward to your continued engagement in Learnovation 2.0 and see you in our upcoming webinars.
So Romi, I'll take leave from the audience and you. In case you
Sure,
have
ma'am.
any,
Sure, ma'am. I will just stay for 5 minutes to like give them the attendance link. You can
sure.
leave, ma'am. No problem. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye.